What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you all are enjoying all the season 11 content I've had out for you. And in this one, I want to talk about all the weapons and how they play on this new map and whether or not you should maybe start changing some of your loadouts. Now, none of these are final say. These are just from my experience when playing on the new map. Make sure to leave me your video ideas down below. Any questions that you have on season 11, I probably have the content for, and I can talk a lot about it. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. And without further ado, let's get into the video. And I would say the most surprising one is the L-Star, because it's probably not what you think it is. All right, so first off, the Havoc. The Havoc is still extremely good. By the way, I'm going to run through these really quickly because it would be an extremely long video if I didn't. The Havoc is pretty much the same. It feels the same, and it doesn't really play that differently on this map, in my opinion. So to give yourself a clue, I would probably rank it in the same position that you had it in last season. Next up is the Car SMG. I do think a lot of people will be simply playing this because it is the new weapon. However, I don't think it's that much better than the R99, if better at all. It is really good. However, the recoil is a lot different and, in my opinion, a lot harder to control. And personally, I would just probably rank it right next to the R99. And I think it's mostly just going to come down to preference. Next up is the Volt SMG, and I will say it's probably just as good, but it is a really good weapon for the nest and clearing out prowlers and spiders. Next up is a Sentinel, and honestly, I think this weapon is going to be really good on this map just because it is a bigger map and it is a little bit more open, in my opinion. A lot of you may not like this, but I do think this map is going to be a lot more long range than what we're used to. It would not surprise me if we start seeing more of a longbow meta coming back into the esports. Now, here's where things get a little surprising to me. The L-Star did receive a pretty good nerf. However, I gotta be honest with you, the gun feels exactly the same. I still think this weapon is absolutely incredible and still going to be really good, especially on this map. If you have a 2 or 3x on this weapon, it's still going to be frying people. And honestly, my final judgment is I would just place it to where you had it last season. I know it sounds crazy after it's buffed, but it really still feels good to me. Next up is the Prowler. I think the Prowler is a really good weapon, as it always has been, and it's not really changed that much, so I would just say keep it to where you've always had it. Next is the R99. Same thing, just don't move it. It's a really good weapon still. Next is the Bocek bow, and honestly, I feel like this weapon is really underrated on this map. I had a lot of success with it, and I usually don't, so I feel like it's really good. Considering the map's a little bit bigger, it's probably going to be really useful. Next is the R301. I feel like honestly this probably is going to be the fan favorite on this map because the R301 is a little bit more long range than the R99, and as always, this weapon's still pretty good up close, and I think this map is just built perfectly for it. But with as big as the map is, I honestly think this might be a secondary weapon to something like the longbow. Next is the Wingman, and honestly the Wingman's exactly the same. However, I just had a lot of success with it for some reason on this map, probably because I was aping, and because this map is a little bit bigger, you're probably not going to like the Wingman as much as you usually do, unless of course you decide to start rocking like a 2x on it. But overall, still solid weapon. Next off is the Hemlock, and I feel like the Hemlock is a really good weapon, probably the best map it's ever had. So if you really like to use the Hemlock, I think this might be your map. Next off is the Mastiff, and honestly, I feel like the Mastiff is back up at the top of the shotgun game with its new hop up. I had a lot of success with it. I really like the Mastiff on this map, although it is kind of situational considering the map size. Next up is the Flatline. Now the Flatline is an incredible weapon as always. However, the recoil is a little bit different than the R301, so unless you're really good with it, you might just want to stick to the 301. But for those of you that know how to control it, you're probably going to love the Flatline on this map because it is a solid weapon as always. Here's another interesting one for you, the Triple Take. Now the Triple Take is really good. However, it's a little bit different than what you're used to. It's not going back to sniper ammo. It actually went back to the energy ammo. So you actually can't put these ridiculous scopes on it like you used to. Unless it was a bug. It actually wasn't letting me put like these 8x on it anymore. It was only letting me put up to like a 2 to 4x. But the Triple Take still feels really good on this map considering it is a sniper, just a little bit limited and a little bit different. Obviously, I would say the Care Package Triple Take was a little bit better. There were only 2 Care Package weapons I got my hands on, one being the Alternator, the other being the Spitfire, both of which felt really good. Now, of course, neither one of these changed, but the Spitfire I would say felt a lot better because it is a little bit more long range. But even though I used the Alternator at a pretty long distance range part of the map, I actually didn't feel like it was very useless. It still felt as good as ever, and honestly, I would still recommend it as one of the best Care Package weapons ever. Next up is the Rampage. The Rampage still feels really good, and I think it's going to be really good on the map just because, like I always say, the map's size. If you put a 3x on this thing, you're probably going to do a lot of damage and going to annoy a lot of players. Same goes for with the Charge Rifle. The Charge Rifle is annoying on this map, and honestly, if you play campy, if you like to play a lot slower, you're going to love this weapon on this map. Next up is the Longbow. I probably love this weapon more than any other weapon on this map, and I felt like it's probably the most practical on this map. I think if you guys have slept on the Longbow in the last couple of seasons, you're probably not going to sleep on it this season. The RE45 is good as usual. However, it's so situational and obviously probably something you only going to keep off drop. But considering the size of the map, you're probably not going to find it as useful as you would on other maps. Next up is the EVA 8, and it actually received a nerf in which everybody thought would be really big, but it kind of wasn't. It felt really good to me still. I don't feel like this weapon is that bad. So if you open season 11 and your thoughts are to not use it because it felt nerfed, well, It doesn't. It feels still really good. Next up is the Devotion, and honestly, it doesn't feel that much different. I feel like this weapon is always kind of useless without the turbocharger, but considering it is a more large map, you probably have a better chance of getting that turbocharger than normal. Now, there was actually a few weapons I didn't get to use because of the amount of time that we had to play, so I'll briefly tell you my thoughts based off what I've seen from other players that I played against. Number one is the 3030, pretty much the same. Honestly, it might be a little bit better just considering, oh my gosh, once again, I said it, the size of the map. So yeah, anything that can take a 3x in my opinion is probably a little bit better. Secondly, the P2020, I didn't really get my hands on this gun. However, I mean, I think I purposely didn't pick it up because it always sucks. Number three is the Mozambique. Honestly, I wish I would have picked it up because I forget how good this weapon is now. A lot different than what it used to be. Probably solid weapon, but probably not better than, you know, the Mastiff. Other than that, I'm pretty sure I covered all of them. Let me know down in the comments below if I missed any. I don't think I did. Oh yeah, and I forgot one, the Peacekeeper. It sucks. Let me know down in the comments below what weapon you're most excited to be using in Season 11. Also, make sure to leave me your video ideas down below. Anything regarding Season 11 that I can explain for you guys. And also leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.